a big thing of eating.
Good evening, and how are we all doing? Apologies for the late one on that. That was my fault. I had a phone call on that, and it just kind of went on longer than I expected. So apologies for that, but we're all here anyway. So first of all, usual panel is obviously Hot Fuzz, but today we've got Budgie, who's filling in for Anthony Herbert, who's watching his crappy old team play tonight. So how are we all doing? I mean, Budgie, good to have you on here, mate. How you keeping?
I'm fine, thank you, and thank you for inviting me on. It's good of you to have me in.
No, pleasure, mate. As always a pleasure. And Fuzzy, how are you, mate?
Yeah, doing all right. Got the signature. We're all set to go for the stream. Cheers, everybody! But Anthony, except Anthony Herbert, of course. He's probably watching Arsenal, trying to figure out how to get a shot on goal. Probably half sort of looking in the mirror, just looking at his eyebrows, giving a little, oh yeah, check out my eyebrows. And probably half wishing that he'd be spending his time here with us. But
exactly that.
It is what it is.
Let's just see if she the chat first of all. She oi, happy Amaret, good to see you. Hope you're all keeping well. And James Bong, jolly good evening to you, chap and chapettes. They're all saying hello to each other and that. And obviously, good old Jeff, Ronnie Bubble, evening.
Oh, good old Jeff.
That's the old lot. So yeah. And I've had her turn up for every game, which is good to see.
Unfortunately,
nice day. Is Arsenal on? Good, nice, mate. Hope it all goes well that game.
It's kind of gone to pot a little bit for Luton, though.
What's the score so far?
Well, it's currently 2-1. It was 1-0 to Luton about 5 minutes ago. So much for that.
Yeah, it's playing out the window straight off. So, Fuzzy, let's start with you, mate. You must be very, lateness is greatness. Is very true, mate. Good news for you. Mr. Ratcliffe is now co-owner of your beloved club.
Yeah, it's finally a fresh, new flavour, new taste, and gets you feeling something different when you think about a club now. It's none of this whole questioning, where's the club going to go? What's the club going to do? Because it used to be that it's a doom and gloom feeling in the moment, whilst you also look at the future and think, where is the fix going to happen? Where's the good news going to come from? Now we've got somebody that's come in that's already made changes, and it's only yesterday that it was made official that you've now got, like, the floor is yours, do whatever you please. And now it's only going to accelerate according to certain Ratcliffe. So only positives that can be said. I know there's still a lot of skepticism. Oh yeah, so he's only just talk. He's only talking the talk, and he ain't walked the walk yet. And again, he has already sorted the CEO position, on the verge of sorting the director of football situation. He's got head of recruitment planned. He's got somebody else alongside them as well. 2 more people from Ineos have just joined the club's board. So yeah, there's a huge amount going on behind the scenes, and the best part about it, that's a nice change, is there's no ton of leaks about everything. So the biggest news is you could probably see coming from a fair distance away. You can sort of get the gist of the happenings, the actions, the movements. But it's actually nice to know that there are people absolutely going ham behind closed doors and getting things done, and then it just happens out of nowhere. Oh yeah, this person's here now and he's really good, and we all look at it and go, oh okay, fair enough. He's actually really good. It's just pleasant. It's just a pleasant change all around, and be it it's only just the beginning, still a long way to go.
Yeah, because I mean, it seems to be that, like, you know, might as well say, like, the 5 minutes he's been there, he's actually achieved more than you can say the Glazers have done the whole 10-year run in the actual club.
More impact in the structure of the club on the sporting side than the Glazers have had, and the Glazers have been here for about 18, 19 years. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, I'm just going to comment after. Yes, I know. Usual suspect. Good to see you in here as well. Is Early Doors doing a still? Yeah, I'm sorry, mate. Yes, I did actually. It's very bad to do that anyway. I mean, Budgie, I think me and you can only dream of having an owner like that comes in and actually says exactly what it says on the tin.
I think we can only dream about having positive thoughts as well, can't we, at the moment? You know, I mean, let's be fair. I mean, we all want a cup of what you got right now, Fuzz. You know?
Yeah.
The thing is that there are rumours breaking the surface about Kretinsky taking more shares, etc. Until it happens, let's not talk about it. I mean, we're a club that are renowned for having rumours about this, that, and the other going on backstage. And then when they pull the curtains back, everything's the bloody same, you know. So, you know, let's hold our judgment back on anything like that. But for Man United, I mean, that's great news for Man United. It's not such good news for the rest of the Premier League, because now there's a chance that they might start becoming the dominant team again, you know.
Yeah.
That they have got a history of it, and a proud history of it, you know. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a Man United fan by any, but I do respect the history they've got. But, you know, I'm actually enjoying the moment at the moment with them, because, you know, you never know which Man United are going to come out of that changing room at the moment, which is, you know, kind of handy for us that when we come up against them. But when they start digging their heels in again, that's it, mate. It's going to be a battle for, you know, with them, Liverpool and City. I think that'll be the top three battle.
Yeah, I agree on that, because I mean, at the moment, I mean, it could be the case of it's definitely as a sleeping giant, and by the looks of it, Radcliffe is already kind of making sure that what they're going to be bringing in is actually going to turn the club around. So it's good time for you, Fuzz. I mean, like, you know, it seems to be positive times.
You got to remember, they're still turning over tens of thousands of pounds a day just in shirt sales.
Yeah.
Man United. Yeah. I mean, they're one of the busiest club stores in the world, I've been led to believe. You know, and people, and it's not just one person buying one shirt. It's like one person buying every shirt for the season, and then the next person's buying every one of them, you know, and fortunately for them, they can afford to do that. I don't think we can. But,
well,
you know, that's because...
Yeah, I tell you what, with the whole shirt sales thing. Sorry to cut you off there, but it's with the shirt sales thing. It's looking at the fact that we've not really been a serious club, like a really, really serious club, for over just about over a decade now. Not won Premier League titles, not won really any significant trophy. The most significant one we've won is sort of between the FA Cup and Europa League, but it's really, really few and far between. And whilst you've got clubs like Manchester City just serially winning trophies every single year, it's only really taken a small hit, and that's after the fan base or people in the fan base have called to withdraw support for financial support of the club in terms of protesting against the Glazers. Well, the thing is even then, the last reports we had was the 5th highest generating revenue out of any club on the planet. And it's like, well, that's when everyone's unhappy. That's when everyone wants to pull their money.
Exactly that. Imagine when that fan base is starting to, pull together and that. I mean, I can only speak from personal experience when it comes to things like that. And I've really only been a part of the larger West Ham community since lockdown, the first lockdown. That's when I discovered YouTube, really. I mean, I thought it was just a music app before that. I mean, I'm 62 years old now, so, but I discovered a few West Ham fan channels because I started looking for West Ham content, and, the good feel factor within the fan base during our season when we became 6th, qualified for Europa, and then we got into Europa, we got to the semi-final, then we got to the Conference League, won that. The feel-good factor in amongst the fans drove the club, as well as the fans. It drove the club because they could see what an effect it's had. Man United have been struggling now, as you said, for 10, 12 years. And their fan base has gradually been getting more and more disenchanted, less and less likely to buy the shirts, etc., etc. And it's like, like the most of the sales are in places like China and Japan and Africa and Hong Kong and places like that. That's where I think about 60% of worldwide shirt sales are, in those areas. It's ridiculous the amount of people that buy shirts.
I think India as well. And just speaking on behalf of the foreign fan bases in India, the reception was ridiculous. There was a comparison made between the Manchester City versus Chelsea game, where they had that cringe Tannoy announcer sort of in celebratory fashion. I'm sure either of you might have seen that video of the Man City lot getting off the team bus and this guy on the mic's just like, "Welcome, your treble winning champions." And literally there's just a couple of people dotted around next to the railings, just like, yay.
Yes.
Then there's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer walking out of an airport in India, and literally you can hear the loudest chanting for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer chants. Literally tens of thousands of these fans had shown up at the airport for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He hasn't had affiliations to the club since he got sacked against Watford about 2 years ago.
Yeah. Well, imagine the kind of reception that Paolo Di Canio gets whenever he's spotted in London. I mean, he hasn't had an actual physical connection with this club since he left in 2004.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah, around that time.
And he hasn't actually worked or been at the club in any capacity since. He may have done one or two, days where he's what's the word I'm looking for? Begins with an A. It's not arsehole.
Affiliation.
Yeah. Like when they come around and they show people around the stadium and stuff like that. He may have done one or two of them. I don't know. I have no idea. But he's not worked for the club since 2004. And, as soon as people knew that he was going to be doing like a live Q&A at a little place in East London, they had to change the venue because it automatically sold out, and they had like 3 or 4 times the amount of tickets required than they were able to give. So they had to put it into a bigger venue so that they could get more tickets, from what I understand. And that was just within hours of it being announced. So, I can see what why people would do that for Solskjaer, because they would do it for, Paolo Di Canio, Trevor Brooking, any of our old players, that have made an impact anyway.
Yeah, of course. Oh, here he is. He's finally showed his head. Big up, guys. Big up, everything. Hope you're doing well, mate. I bet you wish you was here rather than watching that board draw that you're going on at the moment with your famous club. So, yeah, welcome on board, mate. Good to see you. Hope all's good. And big up to Scott Kirk. Hope you're well. Popped in for a like. Arsenal playing like crap. That's what I like to see.
What's new?
Well, except when they play against West Ham, of course.
Of course,
Well,
yes.
yeah, of course, yeah.
They're
No, but then-
world
And
class.
Burnley.
You know?
And
But then
Burnley.
the real West Ham have to turn up, not doppelgangers like
Exactly.
in the last
Any
one.
teams in claret and blues, they probably thought, wait, we've just played Burnley twice.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
Two teams in claret and blue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Probably
But
make the
then
same
they've also
mistake.
got to remember
against
the other two games that they played us in this season as well,
Yeah, Merritt.
where they didn't really get a
3-1
sniff.
there to Liverpool. By the looks of it, the Liverpool's enjoyed themselves.
What,
Yeah,
they 3-1 up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
3-1. Diaz has actually scored.
Wow.
Anthony Herbert's question, Budgie. That should be an Arsenal background behind you.
Well, yeah, if you look at the thumbnail for the show, there is an Arsenal badge above my head. And I'm
Exactly.
wearing like a dark red top in kind of, well, actually it's claret. But anyway, it's plum or wine or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, no, mate, the only thing that ever gets close to me that's anything to do with Arsenal is my nephew. And I'll keep him at arm's length as well.
I know.
You don't accept hugs.
Yeah, no hugs.
You'll get a pat on the shoulder. That's it.
Well, yeah. Get
I
a
mean,
slap
I'm
round the
glad
ear
to
roll for
see,
doing it. Lay your hands on me.
Fuzzy's got over his lobotomy and that, and he's actually back to being a West Ham fan because obviously, like, you know, when he saw that thumbnail early on and that, he messaged me straight away and that, and kind of had to question himself. So lucky enough to know he's back to
I
being.
said, I can act like I've had a lobotomy if you want me to support Arsenal, but there's not going to be anything to do with Arsenal around me. I can't do that. Actually, do you know, I would actually wear another team's colours. And there's only one way I would do it. And that is, like, for example, my brother-in-law, he passed away. He had an epileptic fit, hit his head, passed away.
Oh, sorry.
And he was a Chelsea fan. And in his memory, we played a charity football match against a company that he was working for with a group of his friends and family. And the one request that his dad had was that everybody wore a Chelsea top. And that was quite easy for me to do because both of my brothers and my ex-wife are all Chelsea fans, you know. So it was quite easy for me to wear one and get away with it. There's one photograph in existence, but I won't share it. But I'll admit to it.
But that's nice. That's a nice touch, though, isn't it? I mean, whatever way you look at it. I mean, Anthony's saying to you, Budgie, have you seen what Tony has done to your eyebrows?
Yeah, mate. Do you know, I thought that avatar on that thumbnail was brilliant. I like the way the hair, I had hair.
Yes.
It's great. I mean, I think you should be my stylist, don't you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I thought it was Anthony having a facelift, but then I remembered he wasn't going to be around for the show, and I was like, "Oh no, that's Budgie." Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. I had to read it at the bottom and think, "Who's that fella there?" Oh, it's me.
Happy Emirates asking, what is this eyebrow stuff about? Fuzzy, do you want to explain?
Well, it's the avatar on the thumbnail, isn't it? The eyebrows are a bit large on it.
Yeah, what it is, I mean, basically, if you look at the first thumbnail we did for this show, when we first started The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, where Anthony sits in his room, unfortunately, he's got a light just behind him. So he's got quite light eyebrows as it is, but with the light shining, if you look at the thumbnail, it looks like he's got no eyebrows whatsoever.
Oh, right.
So basically, he said about it. So I said, okay. I said, don't worry, I'll do something about it. So, of course, I found these eyebrows and then plastered all these things. So when you see it, it looks like Mikel Arteta's eyebrows. And we change it every now and then just to kind of give him some eyebrows because basically it looks like he's got none at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's brilliant.
Happy Emirates says, I lost a bet last season with my Spud brother-in-law, 24 hours in a Spud shirt or a pic with my diehard West Ham pops wearing it. He was so upset.
And that's probably one top I couldn't wear. That or Millwall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no. But then, I have got a little bit more respect for Millwall these days than I ever used to have. I mean, when young Isla Caton was ill, before she passed away, Millwall were magnanimous. They put on, fundraisers and stuff. Some of their fans, I've got nothing but respect for them at the moment. For that, that was really good. But
good.
I still wouldn't wear one of their shirts.
I fucking knew it was Arteta eyebrows.
Best looking eyebrows you've ever worn.
Brilliant.
Exactly that.
But don't you think Mikel Arteta looks like he could be the live, not cartoony or puppetry, but like the live actor to play Captain Black in a Captain Scarlet series or something?
Absolutely.
He's perfect for it, isn't he?
He is. He
just looks like him. I call him Captain Black all the time. My brother's always giggling when I call him that.
We'll doctor that to make sure he looks like him. Basically, that'd be quite a funny one to watch. Just see if the second half has started for. Yes.
Yeah, I've just seen the comparison there. Captain Scarlet. Even
Captain Black. Have a look at Captain Black.
Captain Black is
Captain Black. Yeah,
that's him, mate. That is him, isn't it? That is definitely him.
It actually is. Even the eyebrows as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The eyebrows, the Lego hair.
There you go. Look, I'm sitting in the same place you are. Look,
I said for 15 seconds. Unfortunately, a pick was taken. And it still wants to be. Yeah, that's not good at all when you've got that forever embedded in the life's history, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Arsenal. To be fair, I mean, as much as we've got to say it, Arsenal. Okay, they're there, aren't they? They're in the mix.
They are.
It's a three-legged race at the moment. I mean, obviously, I see certain Arsenal fans saying about, City just scraped a win against Brentford last night. But if you think about it, that's how Mourinho and Chelsea won the league. 1-0 wins.
Yeah. That's how Arsenal got their, invincible season, isn't it? I mean, they were, getting 1-0s and. I mean, that was a famous song, wasn't it? 1-0 to the Arsenal, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, and again, short memories, Budgie. That's what it is, isn't it? They forget
what it is. Yeah. Oh, they're always holier than now, aren't they? Well, not all. I don't say all actually, because there are a couple that I've met through you on here. Like Jez and Anthony and that. Nice guys, real nice guys. But a lot of them are like kind of, They kind of believe they're better than they are, the club, I mean, I'm not saying they're a shit club, because they're not.
No.
But,
No, I mean, it's the second year now where he's given fans belief that there's a chance that they could possibly win this league. And if, when you look at it, the last, 4 games now, they've proved that with the results they've got and obviously the goals they've scored. But as always, is history going to repeat itself like it did last season? And are we going to see them throw it away? Because I'm not being funny. When you look at Fuzzy's Man United, they're secretly creeping up that table, aren't they? So there's a chance.
Yeah. And, it's the other thing that's good for Man United, I suppose, is that, their star players now starting to perform at star level. Garnacho, he's starting to get goals, he's starting to get assists, and he's finding himself in space as well, which is rather unusual for him, because normally he's tied up with a couple of defenders around him.
Yeah.
But, he is. And the other kiddie as well, the Hoyland, yeah. I mean, he's started bagging himself a few goals and that. He's going to be, one to watch. When Man United first picked him up and that, I thought, who's he? Never really heard of him. didn't really rate him. I looked at a couple of reels on YouTube, and they were okay, but they weren't really that flattering.
Mm.
And I thought, well, okay, they've picked up an average striker here, but now he started to pick up his game, and I think it's all about the players around you. I mean, when you've got the likes of Bruno Fernandes behind you, and you've got what's his name, even Christian Eriksen. I mean, that man can put a ball on a sixpence.
Yeah.
So when you've got players like that around you and behind you, your game has to improve or you're gone. And he's definitely improved. He's shown himself to be a decent buy. How much did they pay for him now, Fuzz?
I think it was like 70 million. It was massively overpaid for him.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
It's the same story with every other transfer we've made. Murto madness,
I mean, we paid 42, was it, for Kudus?
Yeah, with the add-ons and it's around that kind of price tag, isn't it?
Yeah, 42 with the add-ons and that for Kudus. And I know this might sound biased, but it isn't. It's kind of looking at it as a football fan. I think that Kudus was 100 times more financially viable signing for any club, and a better player to get for half the money, if you like.
Yeah.
And
Anthony
although,
instead.
as I said, Hoyland is coming into the game now and that, but when you look at Kudus, the minute one when he stepped on the pitch as a sub, we all knew there was something very, very special about him. And he's direct. He can't get bullied off the ball, and he'll stand his ground, and he'll leave a foot in if he has to as well. I really like him. I think Hoyland might grow into a player of that ilk, but it might not be his game. I'm not 100% sure on what his game is, but he'll be a decent striker for you lot. I just think you need somebody a little bit more prolific.
I think it will come though, because I mean, like even Kills, it took a while for him to kind of break into the mould, and now he's seen. I mean, what's it now? 4 or 5 goals in the last 4 or 5 games, isn't it, Fuzzy?
Yeah,
I think it's
6 in 5, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's about 6 in 5. He's currently, I think it's
He's
11.
got more goals than games. I think it is 6 in 5. Or 7 in 5, something like that. It's something ridiculous like that.
I think in all competitions, his goal contribution sits about 13 or something, with potentially about 18, 19 games left to go in the season. And I think his last season with Atalanta was about 11 goals in all comps for them in a full season. So he's already beaten, in some say an easier league, he's already beaten his goal scoring record there. How many more is he going to get?
Yeah.
Where he gets up to 15
Actually,
goals.
Happy's come up with a good idea in the chat there. Couple down from there. Not that one.
This one.
That one. Now that's a good idea. United should buy a prolific, established, record-holding striker. You can have him. You can have him cheap. You can have him for
Anthony. You can have
46, I think. Yeah, I reckon 46 million should do for him, shouldn't it?
We'll send you Anthony the other way.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, that'll do. And 46, yeah.
It's a fair deal.
Yeah. Oh, mate. Actually, do you know what? I think Anthony's got the wrong players around him, and I think
he's in the wrong team.
Yeah, he's got the wrong attitude as well. He gets angry with everybody.
Yes.
I think he's probably more suited to something like the Dutch league, or maybe even the Belgian and French leagues. Premier League.
He could spin defenders in the Eredivisie up for fun. Like some of his highlights in that league, he's literally he's taking the piss out of some of those players in that league.
Mm.
Comes to the Premier League, and all everyone can ever think about him is being a fidget spinner.
Yes, that's right.
And doesn't do anything else. He doesn't contribute. He's not close to goal. He's not doing anything.
Yeah.
Whereas in the Eredivisie, most of the time he plays very close to the goal, and he's just trickery. He doesn't have to work a system. Doesn't have to play keep ball. It's all just flair and style and showcase yourself. Then again, you can do that in the Eredivisie. You can't do that so much in the Premier League unless you are genuinely among the top 10 players on the planet.
Yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo's and such. And Eden Hazard. Well, look what happened to him as soon as he left this league. You know?
Well,
Exactly.
He went to Madrid and...
turned into Burger King.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
true. It's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if you look at our club, West Ham, it's not great there at the moment. And ironically, it was funny because one of my drivers where I work, he bumped into Gerard Bowen at the local boozer in North Weald when he was having a meal with his family. And he asked him directly what the hell was going on at West Ham. And Bowen's answer was, we just don't know what's going wrong. And I don't know if that's him trying to deflect from the madness that's happening at the club at the moment. But if it's genuinely the case of he doesn't know what's going on, then I don't know. That's kind of a bit worrying for me, because it just shows that are they actually concerned of what's happening, or it's a case of they generally don't know. I mean, Budge, what do you make of something like that?
Well, the thing is, Jared Bowen and any other player in any club has to be careful what they say to general public.
Yeah, of course.
And also to people in their confidence as well. You know, I mean, like, I can't imagine for 1 minute that Jared Bowen would open up to Danny Dyer Sr. and say to him, oh, mate, I want to get out of this fucking club.
Yeah.
Because he's going to tell one of his mates, and the next thing you know, it's all over Twitter. So they have to be very careful what they say. I think he said what was his answer? I don't know what's going wrong.
Yeah,
Or I don't know what's going on.
basically what's going wrong at the club.
Yeah. Mate, he don't want to openly admit what the problem is, does he? When he's saying something like that.
No, that's true, isn't it?
He don't really want to say what it is. I do happen to believe that it is management level where the problem lies. I think he's lost the changing room.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's another perfectly decent interim replacement sitting there in Heitinger.
Yeah.
And I think the players know that. I think the players are well aware of that. And, you know, certain players that aren't there for Moyes will possibly be influenced by them thoughts, you know. Well, I'm not going to place a great for him. Maybe he'd go and we get Tim. Or, not Tim, sorry, Johnny. Or maybe somebody else.
Ole
I'll
Gunnar
tell you one
Solskjaer.
thing I don't want. No, no. I'll tell you one person I really don't want anywhere near our club, and that is Jose Mourinho. I actually would not go to any games if he came to our club. I don't like him. He's not a man that I like at all. I know he doesn't follow the rules of man and of club, but, you know, and he does things his own way, and he's a serial winner, etc., etc. But he's also very, very poisonous. You know, he can destroy a club's whole feel good in one sentence, and he's done it before. He done it with Chelsea. He did it at Man United. You know, like when he was at Man United, he was great while it was going well. As soon as it stopped going well for him, it was like he tried to find every reason but him for the downturn in results, etc. And that's David Moyes as well, and that's not what a manager's supposed to be. It's supposed to be the buck stops here, And if the buck don't stop here, then why the fuck are you at the club?
I mean, I get what you're saying there. I mean, it's a great comment, but also look at it on the flip side of that as well. Is like you said, management level. So I also look at the hierarchy, because when you look at the likes of Man United, you had, was it Edward Woodward?
Yeah.
Now he was more a businessman than he was a footballing man, and that's why funds were kind of few and far between. If you look at Spurs, Levy promised him he's going to give him this, that, and the other, and basically didn't back him. At Chelsea, it was Abramovich. You knew where you stood with Abramovich, but I think that one was more player power. Got rid of Mourinho in that respect. It's like they got rid of Conte.
Yeah.
And in the end, they also got rid of Tuchel because of that same reason alone, kind of thing. But I think it's a fair comment what you're saying there, Budgie. I mean, Fuzzy, looking at what Budgie's just said there, I mean, you find relevance and you think that's quite correct what he says. Can you hear me, Fuzzy?
Sorry?
I was saying what Budgie just said there. Could you agree with what he just said there?
What about Jose Mourinho?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with Jose, it's a funny thing because it's like we can see at this point he's on the full wind down of his career, right? I think the best days of his management career is behind him now. I just find that with Mourinho, it's constantly where is the third season syndrome type business. So he's always a short term manager, and I suppose the sort of trophy haul that he's had with every club he's been to, it's just gradually gotten less and less and less and less and less. I mean, albeit with Man United, funnily enough, he's actually still the most successful manager post Ferguson, because at least he's actually won 2 trophies, the Europa League and the World Cup in one season. So we actually had a double in that season. Second season, he came out with the quote, "Oh yeah, me finishing like 20 points behind Manchester City is the best achievement I've ever done in my career with this Man United squad." The funny thing is that whilst we can say that's not really a comment that a manager should be saying if you're a Manchester manager, but at the same time, looking back on it, it's like maybe he's actually right with the team that he had. I mean, his centre-back partnership was Phil Jones and Chris Smalling.
Cool.
Yeah.
Phil Jones and Chris Smalling was his first team centre-back partnership. And yeah, as far as the third season goes, I mean, by that point, the whole atmosphere is toxic. But then again, in United's case, it's always a toxic atmosphere for every manager that's been in there, even for Ralph Rangnick, and he was there for an interim period. Literally played 45 minutes of gegenpress that everyone was raving mad about. And then the second half against Crystal Palace happened and it all went to pot. After that, everyone started walking.
Yeah.
They stopped running. They were just walking around like, this guy, he's a bum. Calling him Ted Lasso and stuff. So, Man United, literally. Seriously, they actually called him Ted Lasso.
Wow.
But with Manchester United and Jose Mourinho, the fact that the club is as toxic as it was probably meant that Jose was never really going to last that long. I think it's just the toxic downfall or the spiral for his tenure at the club was just really apparent, really obvious, and it was just waiting to pull that trigger. And then Liverpool happened in this last season, and he was gone. pulled the trigger after losing to Liverpool. I think that game was like a 3-1 loss to Liverpool. I think it was something like that. And then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came in on the interim job, and one thing led to another. Woodward, funnily enough, said, "Yeah, I'm not gonna jump the gun too early on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We're gonna get to the end of the season. We're making stupid decisions." PSG happened, and he's literally wetting himself. He's just like, "Oh, please take the job. Please take the job. We need your song to stay. You can sell it on an album, a Christmas album if we have to, along with 12 Cantonals." At the end of the day, Jose Mourinho, Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, it doesn't matter who the manager was under that ownership, that structure, that boardroom, with that kind of a squad that has so many leisures with the players and players taking liberties in the wholesale mick, is always going to end in tears. But Jose Mourinho, I think his downward spiral was quite obvious, especially in the way that he addressed the media. As far as Tottenham goes, can't speak about Mourinho's legacy at Tottenham because Tottenham are Tottenham. They don't do anything, they don't win anything, they just lose.
Yeah,
they get the participation awards, and they photo frame it in pure gold plaques, like their what was that, Riviere del Sol, Copa del Sol cups that they've won. Made it to
Audi
their honours
Cup.
page.
The Audi Cup, that as well. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously,
I once bought a Ford Cortina Tottenham. It was a base model. It had no cup holders.
To be honest, this trophy is a lot better though than the Audi Cup. It's literally our one that we won against Liverpool. Literally, it's got built-in fans and it lights up different colours. Incredible stuff. I'm so proud of it. It's such a cool trophy.
I mean, obviously, like Budgie's got that iconic picture behind there of the old Upton Park with the old two cars, isn't it?
That's a real football stadium.
Yeah,
none of this.
Agreed. And
none of this
hence,
crappy Olympic.
It was that stadium where it was and everything that influenced the name of my channel of Greenstreet Elites and that, which I also robbed from the movie Greenstreet.
Greenstreet,
that was the name of the firm, wasn't it, in the film? But mate, to me, London Stadium, I've been there a number of times now, and I've enjoyed myself. Not necessarily enjoyed the football, but I've enjoyed the day out, etc. And meeting up with good friends like Happy Amaret, etc. But I still look back to, I stopped going to football in the mid-'80s because life happened. And I still look back at the days of being in the bowling stadium, like stood next to somebody that you never met before. A goal goes in, like, I don't know, Bishop or someone slotted a goal. And they're grabbing hold of you and they're fucking jumping up and down, hugging you and this and that. You don't get that in the stadium now, not unless you're surrounded by old school West Ham fans.
Yeah.
And that is the truth, I mean, a few weeks back, I had to comment to a couple of people I know that I was the only English-speaking person in my section. There was about 30 seats around me. Nobody was speaking English. It was really strange, strange. And that was in Bobby Moore Upper.
Oh, really? That's
yeah.
So it just shows, doesn't it? I mean, obviously, just going to go. Dan, he's a Spurs fan and he's a good guy as well. You can rip in your history as much as you want, but we're still 8-time FA Cup winners, and that's the main thing. When you look at it, it's like, not being funny. Again, they have got history, just like when you look at the fact that Arsenal, Man United used to win trophies. Now they're in that kind of in the same league. So as much as we kind of joke about Spurs not winning much, the other two clubs are just in the same mire.
In fairness, they've had some of the greatest players in English football. Playing for them. The likes of Jimmy Greaves and what's his name? David Ginola. He was a great player. I thought he was brilliant. You know, I was gutted when he went there. Edgar Davids used to be my player of the moment. And when he went to Tottenham, I was distraught. I almost cried. Didn't quite. You know, I mean, even Harry Kane, you know, one of the best finishers in modern history. You know, and they've had lots and lots of great players, you know, Alan Mullery. I mean, I know I'm going back before any of you guys would remember probably, but, you know, my granddad was a staunch Tottenham fan. And I remember, you know, him talking to me about certain players. And, you know, yeah, it's just fantastic.
I think
Danny Blanchflower ended up playing for
yeah,
at one time, didn't he?
That's right. So just, you know, they've got. We know they've got history. It's just the fact if you look at it, as always, there's always been. I mean, look at us, Budgie. I mean, apart from winning the Europa Conference, I mean, you know, we've been in the Phantom Zone for years, not winning anything.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
You know,
I mean, you know, in fairness, we've reached the FA Cup final in 2006. I believe that we were robbed.
Yeah.
You know, I suppose I can't really say that. Really, to be fair, it went to penalties, and we weren't good enough in penalties. But you know, we've been to that final, and before that, it was 26 years before we were in a final of the FA Cup.
Yeah.
And that was the last time we won it in 1980. You know, 1-0, scraped a 1-0 win against Arsenal.
Yeah.
You know, Trevor Brookham, the only goal he ever bloody scored with his head.
That's right. Yeah, it's true.
You know, it is. I think in history, it was the only goal he ever scored with his head. And the ball was behind him when it came to him. So, was it Ray Stewart put the ball into him?
Yeah, Ray Stewart. And all of a sudden, it looked like he kind of collapsed on the floor and managed to hit his head, and it went in. And that's all that mattered. Yeah, it's one of those.
Yeah,
really. It was
but hey, listen, who gives a shit how they go in? You know,
that's all that matters at the end of the day.
It bounces off someone's arse, hits someone else in the face, and goes in. It's a goal. Who
it's
cares?
a goal.
It doesn't
you know, I mean,
matter.
you know, so you know, we really haven't got an awful lot of room to be taking the piss out of the likes of Tottenham and so on and so forth. But we do, because it's football banter and it's all light-hearted. We don't mean anything by it. If I'm sitting in a pub with Daniel, I'll buy him a pint. You know what I mean? I wouldn't expect him to buy me one back. That's not how I work. You know, I'm just one of them guys that I like to have a little bit of banter. A couple of my really good mates are Tottenham fans, and you know, we take the piss out of each other rotten. But at the end of the day, football is what it is. It's tribal.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's true. I mean, obviously, like, you know, Daniel's made a good comment. If our ground's a toilet, then fuck knows what your shit of Old Trafford is these days. I mean, obviously, yeah, we know at the moment
It's just a sieve.
it's held together with sticky back plastic and gaffer tape at the moment. I think, looks of it.
Everything, the supports are held together with loads of you know, what they've done is they brought in a huge shit ton of these like massive balls of rubber bands, and they've gone and just done it over, and everything's just like, just hold it together. They ran out of paint.
All the stickers with Stretford End boys and things like that have been stuck over the cracks, and
they tried to repaint with some of their red paints, but they ran out halfway doing the job, and it's like,
really?
Can we go get some more? No, our budget's too tight. We can't afford it. Oh,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'll use that green one instead. Look.
a great comment from Dan. There's a thing of being humble, and I'm sure United fans need to be reminded of that. And it's true, isn't it? I mean, at the end of the day, it's just like, I mean, if you look at it, Dan, the worst ones for that, unfortunately, are definitely Arsenal. They need to be reminded of that.
It's every fan base. Every fan base have got a contingent of fans in there. United, City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham, West Ham as well. Every club's going to have them, where fans, they get a little bit giddy. Now, it's all because they love their club, of course, and they get a little bit of positive. It's things are going good. They jump on that bandwagon and straight away they are ready to fight everybody. It's like the guy in the pub that's caused a ruckus, right? And he's just like, look at this, bro. I am jumping straight in there and I'm punching up everybody. I don't care who my swing hits. It's hitting somebody. End of story.
Yeah.
It literally. So every fan base is going to have fans like that. I mean, Arsenal, you could probably say, are probably the most insufferable ones because they got the biggest one of the biggest online fan bases and the most vocal online fan bases. So you never really go too far on the internet before you get reminded by an Arsenal fan of something that's completely pointless and irrelevant and has no real meaning. It's just like, but look at us. It's like when they come around and say, "It's yours."
They kind of feel like they've got an undeniable right to be up there, though, don't they?
Yeah,
well, the club's won the history, of course, to go on the conversations about history and say, look at what we won. Yeah, good. When's the last time you won one of those Premier Leagues?
To win the league unbeaten.
Exactly.
You got to tip your hat for that.
But Fuzzy just hit the nail on the head there, because when you think about it, that's what it is. It's history. But they talk about it as if they're still a big club.
Yeah.
But that's in the past. And at the moment, apart from these 2 seasons, previously to that, they were, you managed to get themselves into the top 10. That's about it, really. I mean, obviously, Daniel's saying, to be real, though, I don't need people to banter me for we know my team is shit. Dan, I think we're all in that position at the moment. Apart from, the likes
and to be fair, they're not actually shit at the moment. They've been playing some decent stuff.
Oh, and Andrew's got them playing some decent football. I agree on that, Budgie. I mean, I was quite surprised because I thought when Kane went, they looked a bit tired and would they struggle? But Andrew's come in and that, and he's got them playing.
To be fair, when you look at it, both Tottenham and West Ham undeniably lost their best player in the last window. And both teams immediately improved.
Yes.
How did that work? I mean, their recruitment was really good. Our recruitment was really good. I would say our recruitment was exceptional.
Definitely.
To a point.
100%.
To a point. But both teams really improved after losing their talisman.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that worked because, like when Cristiano Ronaldo first left Manchester United the first time round, there was a real dip in form for them, and the same when Patrick Vieira left Arsenal, real dip in form. It's like when their talisman goes, they seem to have a real dip in form. We didn't, Tottenham didn't. In fact, Tottenham replaced their captain and their manager both at the same time. And they seem to be doing all right. Where are they at the moment? 4th?
Allow me to put something this way for you as far as Man United's recruitment is concerned. Our recruitment is so bad that we sold Ronaldo. The best player we ever replaced him with was himself. And then he left again, and we've still not replaced him since. That's how bad our recruitment is.
That's a real cynical way of looking at it, Budgie. But I kind of get the drift of that, mate. That's flipping hell. Yeah, because before him, I suppose, you would have had the likes of Cantona and so on and so forth. But yeah, since he left, who have you really had that's been exceptional? I suppose Bruno Fernandes is a damn good player, mate. I mean, he'd get in the most starting 11s, I think, around the Premier League.
I think the frustrating thing with Bruno is that it's like what kind of talent he has, but you see him almost be too wasteful. And I think the first season he came in, or first couple seasons under Ollie, very much exceptional in the way in which he contributes goals and assists. Really, really good. And a lot of people hated that. They just thought, "Oh, this ratty player, look at him." Now they've got a bit of ammunition because his goal contributions have dropped off, and he's
but
actually.
in fairness, Man United goals dropped off completely. You know what I mean? You weren't scoring the kind of goals that you have been in the last 4 or 5 games. So, I mean, there is that. And also, I mean, let me throw a little scenario towards you. Now, if you were to drop, say, for example, Bruno Fernandes into the middle of West Ham with Paquetá and Edson Alvarez, for example, you're going to see a very high class of game from Fernandes because there's a lot for him to work with, a lot for him to live up to, and a lot for him to prove. If you stuck him in the midfield with, say, for example, oh God, I can't even remember their bloody midfield, in the middle of the park at Man City, you're going to see a very different game from him. It depends on the players around him. The class of players around him at Manchester United, I'm sorry to say, is average at best. There might be 1 or 2 exceptional players. Rashford not being one of them. He's good, but he ain't exceptional.
I think
Garnacho's getting there. Højlund's getting there.
I think
the best player he plays alongside, in my opinion, sorry, I'll finish it after this.
Yeah.
The best player he plays alongside is Christian Eriksen. And he's an old man.
Yeah.
I think for me with Bruno, the best work we've seen from him is when he played more counter-attack, a little less systematic, and where he's had to play a lot more system-based and, passing this format, passing this formation, these patterns, be in this position at that time, like micromanagement, playing for a micromanager like Ten Hag, it might have taken an edge off his game. I don't know whether the captaincy might have seen a dip in form, whether there's an air of that perhaps. But I mean, Bruno Fernandes has played with the likes of Jesse Lingard on the right and has been able to happily set up goals and assists for fun in quite a lackluster team, because the quality overall has never really been that much better. I mean, as far as other midfielders are concerned, having Paul Pogba in your team, is he that much better? Is he at all better for a midfielder than, say, a Casemiro is? Because I mean, as far as the midfield goes, the Man United, if you've got Casemiro and Kobe Mainu sat behind him, that's probably the strongest defensive midfield that Bruno's had behind him for a long time. So you could probably say, well, as far as conceding cheap goals as such, is probably tactically based. But what else about the tactics is impacting players. And one thing that annoys me about Bruno this season as well is the discipline's not there. Discipline when he's got the ball at his feet. He's trying to do things too quick, trying a bit too desperately. Same problem with the wingers. Literally just too desperate to get goals, too desperate. They see the goal, they get a nosebleed, and they think, shoot. It's a one-track mind. And it's not seeing the best results for Ten Hag's build-up system. Just a bit of patience on the ball. Bruno's not really used to playing patient. He's used to having the freedom to roam about, pop up where he wants to pop up, and then execute the sort of pass and move that he wants to make in that moment. And you see it with Portugal as well. Some of the stuff he does for Portugal is fantastic, but under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, where it's less tactical.
So it is the players around him that's affecting his game then.
I'd probably say
I think so. Yeah, but I think what Fuzzy says
as well
was the captaincy thing, because if you look at it, I mean, you've got to do two kind of jobs then, haven't you? You've got to concentrate how you play, but at the same point, you've got to try and bring the team together. And I can't.
Yeah,
I couldn't agree with.
I understand. I understand that, but I've never understood. I've never understood the rhetoric, if you like, that being a captain is hard work. It's not. It's only hard work if you make it hard.
And this is the thing.
Being a captain is about being a leader.
Absolutely.
And if you're not naturally a leader, then turn the job down.
Exactly. But you know what players are like, though, Budgie. At the end of the day, I mean, like, you know, Happy Hammer actually said it states it quite clearly for Fernandez. I couldn't bear the whining because that's what he's doing. But that's making up for, if you look at it, his mistake. So he does that whining to cover up badness that he's doing at the moment. But certain players have that caliber to be a captain, lead, and still perform. But I think what you're just saying there, if you feel like you can't do that, then what's the point?
Step down or don't accept the job.
Give it to someone else. Give it to someone else. I just want to go on some comments here. I mean, Daniel's got a great comment about, you know, our business in the summertime compared to, you know, he's doing it for how we use the rice money. It was better business than Tottenham. But I think with Tottenham, quality was a little bit better with Van der Ven, Vicario, and Maddison signings. I mean, Van der Ven is a good defender, and the Vicario has been a great replacement. Lloris, there's no two ways about it. And Maddison, you know what you get there basically. But I think if you look at it in that respect, Daniel, I think how we spent our money was a lot more crude. You know, was more crude. Crude is probably the best word, because at the end of the day, we bought players in for decent money, and they weren't bad players. They were quality players as well. I think that's the difference as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I agree with what you just said there, Tony, you know. And to be fair, Tottenham have recruited really well. And, you know, losing a goalkeeper of that standard, you know, or of the standard that Lloris has been over the years, is not easy. And they've replaced him with a decent goalkeeper. And fair play to them. Well done, Ange. Had every confidence that Ange would find the right man. And it was him that found him, I believe. So, you know, and they've done really well. I just think our signings have been more dynamic. That was a comment I noticed. Yeah.
What do you think of McTominay at Man United? He's joint top goal scorer, and Fuzzy reckons he's better than Rodri. Well, he scored 11 goals, but Fuzzy, I didn't realise he scored that many.
Well, what do I think of McTominay? I don't, generally. And the fact that he's a fringe player at Man United and he's been brought in as a sub and he's joint top goal scorer tells you everything about Man United's recruitment, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. It
tells you everything.
Well, he's an academy prospect, isn't he?
Well, there you go. You know,
came through, and Jose Mourinho brought him through, and one of his first games he played was actually against West Ham United, but you played him at centre back and was at fault for 2 of the goals when you beat us 3-1 that day. It was your first season at the Olympic Stadium as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yes,
that's right, because we had back-to-back wins against you, didn't we?
I'm sure we did, yeah.
Yeah, we did. We beat you in the last game at the Bowling, and then the home game in that following season. That's right. I remember.
I mean, obviously, Dan's kind of come out and comment about the Arsenal game, and Anthony probably, no wonder it says it's a boring game. 86 minutes, not even had a shot on target.
There's been 10 shots in that game altogether between both teams.
Wow.
My days.
1-0 to the Arsenal. Anyway.
Oh, bloody hell. Canby got beat 2-1 by Crayford. I mean, you know, Canby was a good team at one point. I remember them.
Yeah.
Old Jeff King, who used to be the old chairman of them at one point.
Hey, look at the comment underneath that.
Here's what I used to do Canby kits. Wow.
What do you mean, make them or wash them? Or
order and print them, not wash them.
Oh, right, there you go.
Remember you saying they were your second team, so you were the kit lady. Yeah, it's true. We better find some kind of form before the 2nd of April. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, what are your thoughts on the upcoming Brentford game, Tony?
Brentford have always know how to play against us, don't they? Or should I say, Thomas Frank knows how to play against us. He always has our number. So I don't favour us against them, I must admit, Budge. I mean, they've got Tony back as well. He's, their talisman. He's all, he's another one that likes finding the back of the net against us.
Yeah.
So I think if we're not careful, we're probably going to lose this. I think maybe 2-1, if that. I don't think it's not going to be another great result for us. Then it comes down to that same old question, which we'll no doubt we'll cover shortly. Does Moyes go at this stage? Because obviously the pressure is mounting more and more on this man's shoulders.
Yeah.
I mean, just going to go on Dan's comment here. Yeah, mate, agreed. Your business was more astute. Spurs didn't do bad either. Madison 40 million, Vicario for 70 million. Yeah, I mean, it's both clubs. I mean, and I think probably us and Spurs did the best recruitment, I think, over the summer period.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's certainly the best window we've had in 5 years, isn't it? In the way of the quality of players that we brought in, not the number.
Yeah.
The quality of the players. And I've got to be honest, I was sad to see Ben Rama go because I thought there was a lot more in him than we were seeing. Just using him wrong.
I mean, that was strange. I'm glad you brought that up because it seems, we were crying out for a left wing and we got rid of basically two players who played on the left.
Yeah, and not only did we do that, but he's benching the only left winger we have actually officially got anymore. He just benches him in Gournay.
Yeah.
There's something very, very wrong there. You don't go and play golf and go up to the putting green and use a one wood. You know what I mean? And that's what David Moyes is doing.
Well, what makes I can't get when it came nearly enough 2 weeks ago now, I think it is. There we was going for Ibrahim Osman. Then you was hearing about there's two agents involved, and then a week later, Brighton signed the kid.
Yeah.
So how can they get it over the line, and yet we couldn't?
Perhaps they learned from our mistake and went, right, we're not dealing with you. We'll only deal with the club and their representatives.
Could be the case there, yeah. That could be the case.
You see, Brighton are very, very shrewd at their business. I mean, you've got to remember, for every single player they've got, and I'm talking about their whole squad, they've got another whole squad ready and waiting to rotate in. They're like shark's teeth, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to lose Mitoma in a minute, right? He's not going to be there for long. I reckon once Salah moves from Liverpool, I reckon that's where Mitoma will end up.
Interesting.
That's my belief. But once he's gone, you watch. There'll be a lad turn up. He'll be 19, 23, somewhere in that region. We'll have never heard of him. And he'll have been playing on loan somewhere for Brighton. And he'll walk into the club, he'll walk into the scene, and he'll just light up the Premier League again, just like Mitoma did.
Sorry, mate. Porto has just scored a quality goal. 3 minutes, it's 93 minutes, and they've just popped out of nowhere, and he has just lofted the ball over the player's head, outstretched arms, and it's finished into the top right bottom corner of the net. Great goal.
Lovely. Who are they playing, Porto?
Arsenal.
Oh, right. So it's now 1-0 to Porto then.
1-0 to Porto, yeah.
Wow.
Practically last kick. Was it last kick of the game?
Last kick of the game, yeah. Really took
Wish
it well.
I knew some Portuguese chants, I've got to do a good job for Anthony, and I bless him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you've got to you can't be smiling there, Budgie, because they're losing. Arsenal's losing him, mate. You've got to be deadpan. That's it. That's better. That's better.
Anthony should have been
I like that comment, actually, Happy.
Yeah. Let's see his face go.
how many chances did Benny get? Clearly, he wasn't good enough. I agree. I do agree. But I was just disappointed because I thought there was more in there.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. He was edge of the 18-yard box. He just lofted that ball over him. With Benny, when he first came in and that, he looked a good player. But for me, he needed a bulk up. And then once he did get bulked up, there's no improvement.
He lost that yard of pace.
Yeah.
He lost that little technique he had of getting round players. He hasn't exactly set the league alight on loan. Mm.
No, exactly, and that's the thing. And as you said, as Happy has alluded, hasn't exactly set the league alight on loan. No.
Yeah. Usual's next comment. Can't think of a player who's improved under Moyes. It's a real difficult one to answer, or to even disagree with. Who has improved under Moyes? Well, actually, do you know what? I've got to say, I thought that Emerson's improved greatly underneath him.
That's my one as well. Emerson is the one that's really shone out.
When he first came in, I always knew he was a decent player, but I didn't know he was a great player. And he is, once he arrived with us, he became a great player.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Bowen, Emerson, that's it. Yeah, Bowen, yeah. Well, Bowen's been great, hasn't he? Porto 1-0.
Big up the Arsenal.
Sorry, mate.
Big up the Arsenal.
1-0 to not the Arsenal. 1-0 to not the Arsenal.
1-0 to the Porto boys.
Yeah, look, here's your suspects. How true is this? AFTV will want Arteta sacked tonight. The most insufferable YouTube Herberts ever. Yes, very much so. Yeah, very much so. But still on the payroll, so of course they're going to big up their club as if they're the best thing since sliced bread, basically. It's made her laugh as well. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, the delusion will always come.
Well, I'll tell you what. If they weren't getting the club perks, if they weren't getting the club perks, AFTV, they definitely would be calling them for the sack tonight.
Yeah.
Already the YouTube world's alight now with the the Arsenal review. Fuzzy, you're in the ugly next week.
I couldn't believe it. I was the good. I don't know what I did to deserve that.
Well, you're the guest, of course. We've got to put you in the good, haven't you? You're the guest, Budgie. We've got to make you look good.
Thank you for that. And speaking of which, I have got another show to do in half an hour, so I'm going to have to go fairly shortly.
No, it's fun. We're 1 minute and 12 minutes. It's surprising how quickly this has gone. This hour and 12 minutes, flown by.
Yeah, as
pack. Only half time. Arsenal winning and going through. That's the way you got to be. Confidence all the time, no matter what. Being confident about what your club can do, and you're going to be at home, so hope home form will be the usual one. Looking for.
Then again, it is a knockout competition, and Arteta hates those.
Yes, it's very true.
They were drawing to Sporting Lisbon in Europa League last season, and they lost the tie at home to Sporting. So never say never. You've got it.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, look. Yeah, a very true comment there. Yeah, Robbie is a Luton supporter anyway, or he was at one time before Arsenal FC. Yeah.
Arsenal FC. Now we know why people say when they are going to take people up to see the arse.
You should talk about Robin Luton. Yeah, exactly. So obviously,
right.
Man United's on the up.
Not seen Yeti tonight either.
No, he's not been well.
Yeti tonight.
He's not been well.
I
think he did a stream today. I don't know if he actually spoken it. I've only because I've been I've got 2
All
weeks of.
Well, if you message him or anything, pass my regards on to
I
him.
will do, mate. Yeah,
Speedy
definitely.
recovery and all that.
You know, hopefully he's on the mend anyway. I mean, like, he's having trouble speaking at the moment, so he phones up the doctors to try and get an appointment. You know, get an appointment, and he can't. And he said he can't speak because he ends up coughing hysterically, etc.
Yeah.
So they said, "Well, we'll get the doctor to phone you and that, so you can make a phone call appointment." And he's
Well, that's really fucking helpful.
Yeah.
Sorry, but you know, it is.
That's true, and that just sums it up.
Normally, right? I mean, I've had a problem with my throat about 9 years ago, and the doctor said to me back then, "Can you email us what your problem is? Because I can't understand what you're saying. If you can email it to us, then we can deal with it, and we'll contact you back." And that's how my doctor's surgery works. Why can't they just say to Yeti, email us what the problem is or text us the problem, and we'll try and help you instead of we'll give you a phone call appointment that isn't going to be any fucking use because you can't talk.
Exactly. So, I mean, on your email, Budgie, what do you do? Like, I've got cough in brackets, splutter, and I can't splutter, cough. Did you do the email like that? Did you to explain what's going on?
No. Basically, you just explain the situation, don't you? You don't put your cough in and that.
Yeah, I know.
God, it's not the cough that kills you off; it's the coughing that carry you off.
Exactly, mate. You know that saying very well. But yeah, I mean, I say, looking at it at the moment, I mean, obviously, Man United are on the up because obviously you've got a new owner. Arsenal, well, they're just Arsenal, aren't they, as we said? And we're not too sure if we're going to have a manager anytime soon. Are we going to do a replacement? Because at the moment, we're in
I'd
shit.
go with an interim. I mean, even Mark Noble.
Yeah, just to see us through. Just to see us through.
Yeah. Just somebody with a bit of positivity about them, because, you can't keep working with the same flipping depressing scenario every day. I mean, obviously, one or two of the players have spoken out about a little bit more disharmony in the squad, officially and unofficially. So, it needs to be addressed, the club.
Yeah.
We need to address it,
And hopefully fast. I mean, obviously, you're hearing rumours that Steadton and Sullivan are supposed to be kind of drawing up a list of possible candidates. We'll see. We'll see where we're going here. We're just stuck in limbo. Who the fuck knows what's happening at the Sambles? Yeah, exactly. It's not good times for us at the moment. So unfortunately, it seems that next week I'm still going to be stuck in the ugly situation. Or we can maybe cram all three of us over to the ugly side. Maybe, I don't know. We can do that. Yeah, it's been around since then. Anthony, boy, I'm fucking still here. I heard that.
Oh dear, bless you. Sorry, Anthony.
I mean, what do you make this one, Budgie? What do you think of this?
Thomas Tuchel to West Ham. No, thanks, mate. No. I'm sorry. I don't believe in him. Simple. I mean, as I said, most of my family are Chelsea, and I haven't heard a good thing about him.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah, I did. Sorry, he does like to put his arm around a player. What flipping good's that? So I mean, I'd rather have Potter, and I don't want him either.
I think he might be a bad fit, though. I mean, going back to Tuchel and that, because you've got to think he was.
I want Eddie Howe.
He'd be a good shout. But Tuchel and that, you've got to think when he was PSG manager, literally that team just won you things, but even he couldn't get a tune out of them, and that was a Silver Maid service team there and then.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But then look, one of the we spoke about him earlier. One of the greatest strikers in recent history couldn't fail to score when he was playing for Tottenham. Can't fail to score when he first goes over to Germany, but it still don't look like he's going to win anything because they've been losing recently, and these things happen in football.
Yeah.
If he gets back onto his scoring ways, and they score more goals than the other team do, then it can pick up. But I mean, that's just the way football is. I mean, we won silverware last year. We started last season. This season we started with a real flourish. We beat the teams around us. We beat the teams that we haven't beaten in a long time. We beat Arsenal twice in quick succession, convincingly both times. We were really, really running on 4-star petrol.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden, somebody goes and sticks a gallon of diesel in. And that's exactly what David Moyes has done.
Yeah,
he's put the wrong fuel into the system.
I agree with that. Hi guys, welcome James Lamprey. Good to see you on here. Just watch Arsenal get paid off.
Thanks for your subscription on my channel, by the way, James.
Oh, brilliant, mate. That's good to hear. Going back, I see some of the highlights on that. Yeah, I think Porto should have actually had a higher scoreline. Go from the last comments in that, Anthony. But it'd be Potter or Cooper for West Ham. That's if Cooper gets sacked at Nottingham Forest. That is.
Wait, Cooper's been sacked?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't realise he'd been sacked. That's where we're going back.
That's the one with the big eyes, isn't it?
That's the one. Yeah,
looks like he's been sniffing something since morning.
Yeah, absolutely baked. He's literally walked out of the crack room, and he's just like, "Which way to the pitch, guys?" That one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which way are we kicking? Oh, right. Okay.
Exactly.
I went that way then.
What colour kits are we wearing? Blue.
Yeah, we're in red today, boss.
Budgie,
I thought I recognised this place.
This place looks like Nottingham.
Happy Lopetegui or Tuchel, Budgie?
Lopetegui. Yeah, him. Don't want Tuchel.
I did hear that Cooper's possibly going to be Sunderland manager.
Oof.
Really? Arnie Slot, that's another good shout. Happy.
Yeah, another good one. Scott Kirk, classic Arsenal. Yes, It seemed to be, mate. It's all of those 10 goals in the last 2 games, and that couldn't hit the barn door today.
0 shots on target.
0 shots on target again, and Column, Cooper the Stoner.
Yeah.
Made my night. The Bubba's getting beat. Yeah. It will probably be Frank Lamp. Oh, yeah.
Oh, God,
no, we wouldn't have that one. Yeah. Yeah, of course. That's right. Usual. Neil Harris is back at Millwall. Yes. Yeah. How the.
Any relation to Rolf? Sorry. Poor joke. AFC always.
Always going to see a tough one to take, but that easy fixable. What a screamer, though. Yeah, it was. What a time to win it. Sucker punch, but bring them onto the Emirates and turn them over. But always said our Champions League last 16. Yeah, I think most people said that AFC always. Yeah, definitely from that. Most definitely. I think last 16 would. I mean, look, first time you've been back in the Champions League, it's not been a bad journey for you guys. You've got to say that at least. So it ends from here, definitely. Anthony's got a question for you again. What do you think of Old Trafford behind Fuzzy?
I thought that was the, North London.
What you've got to remember, Fuzzy, he comes from Bristol, and that you know what they're like. They're behind the times that they're down that way, and it's they've only
live out of mud shacks.
I'll tell you one thing I do think about Old Trafford though. It's too far away. They should have a stadium a lot nearer if they want me to come.
Exactly. Well, you've got to think most of the fan base do come from our way, don't they? Really?
Well,
yeah,
If Ineos build like a futuristic stadium as well, because what they're thinking of doing, somebody said it today that they might give Old Trafford over to the women's team, and then build this new stadium further up the road. I think the whole area. Just that whole area there, they're planning on turning it into a sports city.
Wow.
It's an industrial park at the moment, and that's not doing too well, is it, at the moment, industry?
It's actually kind of fun. It's actually that's the funny thing about it is that I was thinking that this Ineos group were going to be really broke. It was Qatar that was like, yeah, no, we're going to renovate the whole end of Manchester. Turns out Ineos are actually going to do that. They're literally going to,
and everybody will be driving around in Mercedes Benzes.
Bristol, did you say Tony? No, not at all, me, mate. I don't know where you heard that from, Anthony. It wasn't me, that's for sure.
Yeah, I found out something about our stadium, Tony.
Yeah.
Well, you know, like 99% of the time when you go to the stadium and when you need to go to use the toilet, it's like a layer of water on the floor, isn't there?
Yeah.
I always used to think it was dirty bastards not pissing properly, but it's not. That's the residue of what leaks out of our roof.
Really?
That's where it emanates. Yep, it all gathers in the toilets for some reason. Weird, isn't it? But that's what someone told me anyway. I have never researched it, so I don't know how true that is. But
I was class as recirculation, Budgie. I don't know. Man United should build a new stadium closer to the fan somewhere in London. Yeah,
you know what I mean? They're mopping more water out than flushing.
Yeah.
Pepsi.
Right, I've got to go, guys. I've got to go.
Budgie, yeah. Well, we're just going to be finished up anyway. Just going to do the last comments there. So while you can, Budgie, you want to shout out your channel, please, mate?
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, Greenstreet Elites on YouTube, on Twitter or X. You can find me at Budgie Uncaged, and Instagram Dax the Ripper 3. Yeah. So yeah, you can find me on YouTube on Greenstreet Elites and have a look at the content. If you're interested, contact me. We'll get you in.
Brilliant. Cheers, Budgie. I'm just going to answer this question. James Lamprey, who would you like as a new manager if Moyes' contract doesn't get extended? For me, I wouldn't mind Thomas Frank.
Yeah. Eddie Howe for me.
Eddie Howe's good, yeah. Just showing out. Old Trafford, the same budget. They've got a waterfall there as well. Hot Fuzz, do you want to shout out your channel as well, please?
Yeah, so Hot Fuzz 44, as you see there in the little corner here. Where is that? So handle Hot Fuzz 44 OG. You can find me on, of course, YouTube, but also on Instagram as well. Share the same profile picture, so it's quite easy to find with a quick search on the gram. Big ups also to Budgie for joining us. It's been a pleasure to have you on. And been an entertaining talk, although I've been outnumbered by 2 West Ham fans to 1. It's a shame that we couldn't have Anthony crying in somewhere in a corner, somewhere down there, watching Arsenal have it stuck to them by some real European champions. You know, it is what it is, Anthony. It is what it is. But yeah, man. It's been another fantastic show, another week, another brilliant show. So big ups to everybody and also to the chat as well. And
yeah, as always, good old chat. I mean, Hammy, keep on getting my teeth.
Hammy, I always do that.
Hammerette. She's asking, what does the 44 represent? Is it your age?
Surreal. Nah. The 44 was literally when I was making it. It was somewhere where I was making the new username, and it said Hot Fuzz is taken. Oh damn, Hot Fuzz _10 taken, _11 taken. Oh screw it, then just mash a couple numbers. Everything was taken until I got to 44, and it was just like, no, you can have this one. So it's just stuck with me ever since. Hot Fuzz is themed off of the film, Trio Cornetto, fantastic trilogy of films. Simon Pegg, Nick Frost. Love them. But 44 is literally just a number that where it was that I made up the username actually allowed me to have a username Hot Fuzz. So just tied the numbers to it.
Big T saying, do another hour.
Big T, if you drag the little tab thing at the bottom of the watch scene, just drag it all the way back to the start, you can have an hour for free.
Exactly that. And as always,
for the greater good.
It's not happy to see him be happy. And as we always say at the end of the show, it's for the greater good. So with that, people in the chat, thanks for hanging around with us for an hour and nearly 30 minutes. It's been a pleasure as always. Budgie, Great to have you on, filling in for Anthony.
Yes,
and that.
thanks, Tony. No problem.
At least you've got decent eyebrows compared to what that man's got.
You ain't seen them close up, mate.
But yeah, it's been a great show and that. And as always, thanks very much for coming on. As Abram says, yeah, thanks guys. Leave it as you like. Exactly. Thank you very much for that. So yeah, this is the good, the bad, and the ugly, episode 6. We're coming to an end, and we look forward to seeing you on Sunday when it's the Sunday night takeaway show, and then next week, the good, the bad, and the ugly again. And if you've got the chance to, Budgie's going to be on soon on the West Ham Network with the Old School Hammers. Make sure you go and support that man and Kieran. Great show with these two. And as always, we've got them blasted birds in the background, as you know, when we do the show. It's a great share. Take care, all. We'll see you next time. Bye bye for now. For the greater good.
For the greater good.
I'll speak to you soon.